Welcome back, agents. Today we're diving into the Caduceus Assault Rifle, a returning Division 1 weapon in Year 8 Season 2. You can get it for free at level 69 or earlier on the premium track. Its talent repairs 3% of your armor based on your damage. Great for you and your team. I'll show you legendary gameplay with the modifiers on and off, but any build will work. I'm using the 4-piece striker set. If you're new or returning, hit that like and also subscribe, and let's get into it. Alright, so the main focus of this video today is the Caduceus Assault Rifle. We're not worrying about the build per se. This gun is amazing and you can obtain it for free at level 69 on the season pass. But if you buy the premium pass, you will be able to get it. Actually, you'll be able to get the first 20 levels and you will be able to get it instantly. For some reason, I did not receive the blueprint from Ayana whenever you do get it to level 69, but overall, I did manage to get damage to target out of cover on it when I did get it at level 69. So that is great. And I did expertise this weapon to level 30 because I enjoyed it so much that I felt that I wanted to max it out because I will be using this weapon a lot. As you can see, weapon handling is pretty decent. Now the talent is the same as the name of the gun. It's called Caduceus. Critical hits repair you and your allies for 3% of the hits dealt damage. The mods that come in this gun you cannot change. That is 10% critical hit chance, a 5% critical hit chance, 5% critical hit damage, and plus 40 rounds in the magazine. Now the secondary weapon, use whichever weapon of your choice. I did have the LMG military MK46 replica equipped. It is prototype. To prototype a weapon, you must first expertise it to level 30, and then you can prototype it. I do have the echo augment on this weapon, and basically it is a level 3, so we have a 1.6% chance, double damage chance with this weapon. The core attributes, we do have 15% LMG damage, 17% damage to target out of cover, and 9% damage to armor. The talent we did put on this gun is Frenzy, and for every 10 bullets in the magazine capacity, you gain 3% rate of fire, 3% weapon damage for 9 seconds when reloading from empty. So keep in mind you don't run a reload early because you won't be able to get the benefit of this talent, and the weapon has to be, you have to completely empty the magazine. Sidearm, we still have the quick step pistol equipped primarily for the talent, which by now most of you know. It is called sport mode. Sport mode does is you get 20% movement speed. This bonus does not stack with any other movement speed bonuses. Again, we were using 4 pieces of the Striker's battle gear. That gives us 15% increase in weapon handling, 15% increase in rate of fire, and you get the Striker's Gamble talent, which basically weapon hits increase total weapon damage by 0.65%, stacking up to 100 times. So at max stack, that is 65% increase in weapon damage. 1 stack is lost per second between 0 and 50 stacks. 2 stacks are lost per second between 50 and 100 stacks when you're not firing. Now, this is prototype as well. For the augment, we do have Quantum, which provides a 2.5% chance of becoming immune to damage for 2 seconds. This bonus cannot refresh while it is active. And on this mask, we have a core attribute, 22.5% weapon damage with a 12% critical hit damage attributes. For the chest, since we were playing on legendary, we did go with the strike chest piece, but you could have used the equalizer chest if you didn't want to use this, but this is prototype as well. Every bullet has a 1.9% chance to apply a random status effect. Does have a cooldown of 5 seconds, and we do have this leveled up to level 2. So of course, the more you level up, the more percentage of chance you'll get with that. For the attributes, well, core attribute, we do have a 22.5% weapon damage and a 12% critical hit damage attribute and a 6% critical hit chance attribute. The talent that comes on this chest piece is called Press the Advantage. This increases max stack from Striker's Gamma from 100 to 200, so essentially this is going to be more damage, but you will lose 3 stacks per second between 100 and 200 stacks. For the holster, we do have the Salvo, which is part of the Unit Alloys brand set, and 1 piece does give you 5% increase in rate of fire. We do have the Augment. This is prototype as well, and the Augment we do have on this Paradox, which provides a 2% chance of refilling your magazine by 100 for each bullet fired, so that's great as well. And the attribute that only comes on this that makes this holster special is that rate of fire is only 5%, but when you prototype it, it increases it to 7.5%. So with this holster alone, we have a 12.5% increase in rate of fire, and we do have a 6% critical hit chance attribute. For the knee pads, this is prototype as well. We do have this at level 7, and we also have the amalgam augment on this, which this is providing us a 3.4% status effect chance. And for the core attribute, we do have a weapon damage core with a 9% critical hit chance attribute. For the gloves, we are wearing the Overdog Exotic gloves. This automatically comes with all weapon core attributes, well, weapon attributes. So we do have a weapon damage score of 15%, a 6% critical hit chance attribute, and a 12% critical hit damage attribute. The talent that comes on this is called Weakest Link. This amplifies weapon damage by 30% to the lowest ranking enemies currently in combat as per the tier hierarchy. So you basically want to start at tier 3 and work your way up. There are many other great options. You can just go with the Striker's battle gear, especially if you have a prototype. You can wear the gloves. We do have quantum on these, and this will work great as well because prototype gear is just as powerful as exotic gear in this game now. Keep in mind, I was just wanting that amplified damage. Now, we did have the Striker's battle gear backpack on as well. The augment we do have on this is Synthesia, which provides a 7% chance of reducing skill cooldowns by 2 seconds for each 0.2 seconds for each bullet hit. So we basically have a 7% cooldown reduction chance with this. For the core attribute, we do have a 15% weapon damage core with an 18% critical hit damage and a 12% critical hit damage attribute. And the talent is called Risk Management. This increases total weapon damage gain per stack of Striker's Gamma from 0.65 to 0.90. So that's great. Ultimately, has more damage. Now, when I was testing this build out, I haven't tested it out with the tipping scales build yet, but I'm assuming it will work because tipping scale hits very hard. The only issue with tipping scales is that you lose your stacks so quickly. As far as our skills, we were using the Revival Hive, the Assault Drone, and the Assault Turret. For some reason, I have noticed is that the Revival Hive, it isn't really reviving you. But a lot of times I'll go down and I will have one charge available and it won't even pick me up. So I don't know what's going on there. But and a decoy would work great as well since you're playing on Legendary. Now, as far as our active modifiers, we do got a new one this season. And it is it's basically called Cleaning Up the Streets, and we have a total of 3 active modifiers, and I will go over those shortly. Ferocious is one, and basically on this one, on activation, enemies and allies within 25 meters of you gain separate stacking effects for the next 35 seconds. Allies receive 20% incoming repairs per stack. Enemies take 20% extra damage from skills per stack. The number of stacks is equal to the total number of allies and enemies in the radius when Ferocious is activated. You also gain 20% increase in skill efficiency for 35 seconds. Now, and of course, you will have to level this up as well to get the most amount of benefits, because I want to say that cooldown was 180 until I got this fully maxed out. Another thing I do want to point out, to activate these modifiers, you will need these active modifiers. You will need canisters. But the second active modifier is called Pneumonia, and basically for 60 seconds your weapon swap speed increases by 50%, and weapon kills grant one of the 3 stacking bonuses depending on the type of weapon that you're using. So if you're using marksman rifles or pistols, you will gain 5% increase in headshot damage, 2.5% accuracy per stack. Assault rifles and LMGs, you gain 2% critical hit chance and 2.5% stability per stack. And shotguns and SMGs, you get 3% critical hit damage and 2.5% reload speed per stack. These bonuses are capped at 12 stacks each, and each kill increases the corresponding bonuses stacked by 4. So this is another great one to use it. And the third one is Invincible. Basically for 20 seconds, you gain 99% damage reduction against all damage sources and gain the following bonuses while there's an enemy within 50 meters in front of you. So your movement speeds increases by 20%. You gain 25% bonus armor on a kill until Invincible ends. You also gain 10% damage to target out of cover as well. Keep in mind, when Invincible ends, you immediately take 100% of that damage you would have taken without Invincible being active. So that is one thing you got to consider. It reminds me of the one where basically I don't know the name of the talent off the top of the head, but whatever it ended, it would drop an EMP pulse that would almost take you out immediately. So this one you have to play very strategically to take advantage of that active modifier. But I don't really use my active modifiers too much. As far as our passive modifiers, we got 3 different sections. That is gadgets, resistance, and offensive. The ones I am using is Spark and Flame. I am also using Viper, Bite, and Contagious. Viper Bite is an offensive one, and basically after every 4 kills, all of your shots for the next 8 seconds apply poison for 2 seconds. I'm also using Contagion. When you gain Contagious, right? But whenever you're within 10 meters of an enemy, Contagious transfers to them. When a contagious enemy dies, Contagious transfers to their closest ally within 15 meters. If there's no one to transfer it to, it automatically reverts to you instead. Contagious, what it does is it has no effect on you, but enemies that have it take 40% more damage from all sources. So this is an excellent passive in my opinion. Spark and Flame, you increase your status effects by 30%. And in the dark zone, you will basically increase weapon damage by 2% as well for each 10% of status effect. So overall, this some great passes in my opinion, and there are many more that would have worked pretty good on this right. It worked good because you have one that gives you that 30% increase in hazard protection. Now, if you look at our prototype augments, we have 2% magazine refill chance, 5.3% status effect chance, 7% cooldown reduction chance, and 2.5% damage immunity chance. Our base weapon damage with the Caduceus is 162,857. We do have a 58% critical hit chance. The cap is 60 with 116% critical hit damage, 75% headshot damage, and we do have 15% damage to armor. We will go over that a little bit more. I will show you why I have 15% damage to armor. But overall, this is a very powerful setup here. And like I said, I will test this out with many other builds as well. But, you know, Strikers is one of my favorite gear sets and it just works great with any weapon. So I just wanted to see the potential amount of damage you can do with this weapon. This build is very squishy. As you can see, we only have 917,322 armor with 91,732 armor on the kill. This build has 0 armor regeneration, so you're solely relying on that 3% armor repair you're getting from the Caduceus Assault Rifle. We did go to Gunner class specialization for those passive talents, which basically every third reload is 50% faster. Armor kits repair 100% armor and grants 30% bonus armor for 10 seconds. And also killing enemies grants 10% armor on a kill. You will also have access to the Banshee Pulse, which is great for crowd control. Basically, it launches a forked arc of pulse energy that disorients enemies caught in a wave, and also gets those enemies that are hiding in cover as well. So great crowd control mechanic is, in my opinion. Now, some of the passives that we have in this build that I enjoy is, well, one is the supply line talent. You generate 10% of your total ammo capacity every 60 seconds. Party members recover 5% of theirs. The barrage, you get rate of fires increased by 5% on a kill for 5 seconds. Also, you get the emplacement, which 10%, you basically get 10% increase of weapon handling whenever you're not moving for at least 1 second. Also, don't forget to equip the correct weapon element to get your 15% increase in weapon damage. That's 15, that will increase your time to kill. So ultimately, whenever you're changing the builds out, whatever weapons you're using, always remember to come in and change this out. In your base of operations, I will show you really quick. First of all, in order to level up these passives, the one that I was showing that 15% damage to armor, you will need to go to the Dark Zone and participate in the basically Dark Zone West. That is the PvE version, and you will need to collect canisters, and we'll go over that in a second. Now, if you come right here to base of op, you will see you have different categories of canisters. The maximum amount of canisters you can hold is 90. So if you're in the Dark Zone, when you get to 90, you might as well go ahead and scrap, travel back to the White House, and trade in these canisters for munitions. And when you trade it in, it will give you 600 munitions. That will go towards these passive bonuses right here that's on the right side of the screen, which when you get a certain amount, you will get 40% optimal range, 35% increase in weapon handling, 20% in magazine capacity, 15% damage to armor, and 15% increase in increasing rate of fire whenever you max this out completely. To get the full benefit of these passives, you will have to actually go in the Dark Zone and collect these canisters. Again, only when you get to 90, leave the Dark Zone. Well, first extract whatever you have and leave the Dark Zone. Come back here and donate it, so that way, because any canisters that drop while you're in the Dark Zone and you already have 90, basically you won't be able to pick those up and they will be lost. Something I did forget to mention, it is your seasonal journeys is how you will unlock a lot of your passives and your active modifiers. Now, again, this right here will not be active while you're active modifier if you don't have the modifiers on, so you won't be getting that 15% increase in a buff in armor damage or your rate of fire or anything if you don't have the modifiers on. So keep that in mind. In order to get full benefit of these passive bonuses, you will need to have your modifiers on this season. In the gameplay today, I showed you gameplay on Legendary with the active modifiers on and with the active modifiers off. And I can't say, like I said, of course, to be able to do the amount of damage you see me doing, your weapon will need to be fully maxed out with expertise level 30. And of course, I did have Striker's gear set on. So as always, agents, I appreciate each and every one of you for your valuable time and continued support. Stay strong, stay sharp. Dwerewolf Gaming out.